The Holy Bible is something that it can almost become a sensitive topic because people try to create a division amongst the characters in the book. But what you're doing is you're fighting for the things that don't matter, that you miss the overall purpose and the overall theme. You see, people pray to God for things. And because he is this great deity, you expect that he just magically gives you everything. But wouldn't that make God more so a genie? God's not a genie. He doesn't work like that. In fact, when you think of what magic is simply an illusion. It is simply the work of a deceiver to confuse you, to overcomplicate what is really there. Like a famous magician trick where he tricked this football player. He had this red ball that he could squeeze up and make disappear. He went like this to the football player's hand and he tricked him by first leaving the ball there. But the key thing that the magician was doing was when he picked the ball back up, right, he started doing a lot of motions with his hands to try and confuse what the message was. And so what he did was, the very first time he went like this, he threw it over the football player's head. So when he had his hands closed and he went like this, he said, okay, now I'm gonna do it. 1, 2, the illusion, the deception had already taken place. The deception had already gotten you because you were not aware. The biggest illusion that the world is trying to give you is that you cannot access the Word of God unless you are this chosen individual. You cannot access the Word of God unless you've been picked. No. See, God's gonna call you, but you have to decide if you answer or not. And the way you answer is by being in the presence of God, which is not always you going to an altar, but rather being in the presence of God, reading the Word. People don't want to get into the Bible because of their lack of understanding, because of the misconceptions that were placed onto you. People see the words like servant and then there are images of a white Yahshua. And so people are immediately turned away from the Bible because the image that society has programmed into African Americans is that their history starts with slavery. So when you see the words such as servant, you will immediately start thinking of God's this white God that wants me to be a slave. No! That is the illusion. That is the deception to confuse you. See, the first trick of the Bible is you have to kill your ego. To kill your ego, right? A famous scene in One Piece was when Zoro bowed down to Mihawk in order to learn. What is the definition of a master? A master is somebody who knows it all, right? And if you actually look up the definition of servant, the definition of servant is a leadership style that prioritizes the growth and betterment of somebody else. So that's why when you are serving somebody, you are not doing it for your own personal gain, but for their growth, which is why it's two masters, it's God and money. If you are serving money, what ends up happening is you only do things that please yourself because there's an incentive for you. I'm only gonna do this if there is a recompensation, but that doesn't mean you're truly serving for somebody else. That makes you more of a boss than a leader. You gotta understand, they try to make you think that the Bible is this negative thing. If you read the Bible, if you understand the Word, it's about the characteristic traits that we have as humans, the flaws that we have. But the worst thing about this is that there is the adversary. The adversary was the devil, but the adversary was somebody who was put up against Job to test his character. So if the adversary is the devil, we know that, number one, the devil can't hurt you without permission from God. If you are reading the Word, if you are in the presence of God, if you are learning from God, that means that the devil should be unable to harm you because you allow for the harm that is permitted in your life. The mind is very powerful. So the adversary tries to destroy Jobs through a series of tests, whatever, the adversary just simply, in real life, divides us. So if we know that the adversary is the devil, we know that the devil is debating. We can actually resolve a lot of conflicts through clear communication and comprehension. But what happens is there is a miscommunication. We get lost in being able to talk to one another. This is why the Bible, it was hard for people to get into it because they were unable to learn, unable to educate themselves. And because they were unable to educate themselves, they weren't able to read. Something that you don't even understand is truly like a privilege. Being able to go to a free school, just a school in general. You focus on the bad, like the cafeteria food, the milk, the fights. I mean, that just depends on some schools, but the whole purpose of school is for you to gain the ability to learn complex topics, learn harder ideas, because ideas build off each other. Another trick that the adversary did was he implemented, like I said, his division. He tries to divide us. He implemented this race war. He created this image of a white Jesus, of this white Yahshua, and what he did was he then, like I said, corrupted the image of African Americans, black people, by making us think that our only background is slavery. But that's why if you actually learn before slavery, we were powerful African warriors. The only reason, right, that the Africas got colonized, the only reason why white people were able to initially beat Africans and conquer them was because of their technology advancements. Because they were able to figure out the gun quicker, they were able to conquer us, but we in fact had the better war strategies. They didn't know how to actually hunt, but like I said, they were smarter because they banded together. The way that the adversary works, he wants you to think you're slaves, so that way you're fighting against white people, thinking that, oh, white people are trying to keep us down. But the whole purpose of Yahweh is about learning wisdom. It repeats wisdom for what? For us to learn. When God is talking about all this wisdom, all this learning, you start to understand that the wealth of God, the kingdom of God, is not money, but it's knowledge. The wealth is in the education. To connect back to my previous point where, because, you know, they try to brainwash us by saying that we were slaves, the brainwashing is still going on with these entertainers. You see, these people that get famous, they become the representation of a successful black man. So all of these gangster rappers, they keep promoting and pushing negativity onto us. Selling drugs, got a fast car, making money. Why? Why are you promoting that? Something that is especially being attacked and targeted is black women. They have been trying to destroy the image of a black woman for how long now? Because you gotta understand, when you think of successful, if you search up successful black women, when you look at the industry, you see Sexy Red, Megan Thee Stallion, Suki Hunter, Summer Walker. These are the representation of black women. Lotto, Cardi B. These are women that are getting on stage, they're just shaking their ass. When you are just giving lust out, you are only going to attract lust. We are energy. We vibrate off each other. Projection is something that is very real. You see what happened to Ice Spice. When she came into the music industry, this is not to body shame. This is to, like I said, gain awareness. We saw that, you know, she had more weight to her, but then she goes to the music industry and now it's looked like she's lost a lot of pounds. She doesn't even look as interested in making music anymore. She is quite literally, her energy is being drained before our very eyes. Adversary is trying to reap as many rewards from her body that they can before they then discard her. And then Barbie, what does Barbie say? Nicki Minaj is promoting a Barbie girl type body. Plastic, fake, BBLs. Why are BBLs so popular in the African American community? Why is it so popular with us? Why? We're regressing backwards because we're being distracted. Like I said in the beginning, the ball has already been thrown, because when the image is destroyed, right, the youth don't know who to look up to. So they start idolizing the things that the world is pushing onto us. This is why you have to reject the world. The world pushes certain images that tries to keep us in a negative cycle. They try to make us think that only one person can make it. The top 1%, the top 1% of basketball players, the top 1% of artists. This is where gatekeepers come from. We can refer back, like I said, we gotta learn from history. In slavery, there were Africans who were captured by the white man, but what they did was the white man reached an agreement that the African man can capture more slaves, and the white man will then give in exchange for that person's freedom. Basically, sellout, okay? So this African was capturing slaves and literally putting them into slavery, not understanding that that white man still does not even respect him. He's just using him. Nobody is born the smartest. People can be born genetically enhanced like 6'4", 6'5", but for the people, right, they're like 5'7", 5'8". How do they then get respected if it's like this entire demographic is being completely pushed off? These people, these sellouts, are the same people that go into the entertainment industry and push these images to these children. That's the reason why I'm actually happy with the punishment that Ja Morant got, because of the simple fact. So you're already tatted up, dreads, you already have such a unfiltered way of talking, and then are going on live knowing that you have a big kid audience and you are quite literally flashing your gun to a young boy song, knowing that kids look up to you. That is the image that you are giving to the youth. What does that say about you? That is why I like to call those are the sellouts. And so when the greatest image for African Americans, for black kids, is entertainers, the balloon popping challenges, and that's just ridiculous. Cause I think I saw there was like a kid rapper, and there was like a bunch of like young, very young women, and he was saying some of the most outlandish stuff. Like, bro, you're a kid. Read, learn. This generation is being destroyed with materialistic things. The gatekeepers, right? Black gatekeepers, right? So like I said, the African sells himself out to help the white man. You see that what happens with the NBA. Players are just disregarded. As soon as you get injured, okay, don't care about you. We can get a new one. Next, damn, he got injured. Oh well, trade, next. Some franchises don't even really respect you as a player, as a person. You're an asset, quite literally, to get cash, lottery, trade picks, and other people. You are an item. You are a very expensive item, but you are an item. The adversary does not want you to know. Learning is the most powerful thing. Wisdom is everything. What they quite literally do. Wisdom, how we obtain wisdom is through education, through learning, right? Education is the most important thing for us in order for us to advance. But nobody is born naturally smarter. Everybody is born with the same brain capacity. People that choose to train their brain muscles grow. That is how you learn. But like I said, people start charging you to learn. That's when it becomes corrupt for selfish gain. The biggest things, right? When you search up the easiest ways to make money, men's lust, women's desire for beauty, elders' health, rich people's fear of loss, and then poor people desiring to get rich quickly. What do we see all the time? How to get rich course, pyramid schemes. You got these YouTubers that feed you this nonsense. They feed you this garbage. And then they say, if you really want to learn, get my course. If you really want to learn, buy my book. Knowledge is supposed to be free. That's why a library, you can just walk in and read any book you want. Knowledge is free. When you have these false idols, they try to charge you for it. They try to make you believe that you have to acquire something first in order for you to get what it is that you're asking for. I'm sorry, but that's ridiculous. And this connects to the biggest thing I want y'all to understand why I'm making this video. The most important thing that wisdom is, wisdom comes through the blesser. Something that is taken away and that they're trying to do with these women promoting things like Sexy Red and Nicki Minaj is they are quite literally trying to destroy households, family households, more specifically African American households. African Americans have the lowest marital status. The average American marital rate is 48%, but African Americans are at a 31%. What does that say about us? Marriage comes down to communication. Marriage comes down to two people deciding that it's no longer just about their dynamic, but it's about you being life partners to guide your children, to give them the wisdom. The reason why a presence of a father is so important, it's not materialistic things. It was never about the money. And that's why things like child support give the incentive that women can take fathers out of the household. No, you need wisdom. You need the knowledge from your father, the experience from his mistakes, so that way you do not repeat the same mistakes. You learn. You're learning. A metaphorical way that you can put it, right? Why men and women have to be stronger together, right? And they try to break us apart. A man, John Henry he was a non-fictional character based on a true story, in which there was an African American who was quite literally building the Underground Railroads. He led the construction of the Underground Railroads. But the story of John Henry is that obviously he's a powerful African American who can build these Underground Railroads. More importantly, who is somebody who truly utilizes the Underground Railroads? Harriet Tubman. You see the power of men and women coming together. My personal belief, I think men are the leaders of the house, but I believe women are the protectors. It's a team effort that makes a family so strong. The mother and the father both are combining their powers to make their child ultimate. To further elaborate, right, the man, he's going out to the world, doing what he has to do to provide, to bring in those natural resources. The woman is usually at home because she has a higher emotional intellect. She has the nurturing ability for the child. Women are emotional creatures. That's why they naturally are better when it comes to babies. That's why they say a mother sense. You are carrying that baby. You protect that baby. You quite literally have to protect that baby. And the way you protect that baby, right, is by picking the right man to lead you. So this is why I say when the image of an African American is destroyed and women are looking up to Chief Keefs, they want to be baby mothers, they want to be F my baby daddy, F my baby sexy, and then you got men looking up trying to get girls like Sexy Red. We're both losing. In divorce, everybody loses. An intelligent woman, a Proverbs lady, is based on her wisdom. She learns. That is why you want to be with a girl that has wisdom, because she learns. She learns from the man who is leading. But this is what I'm saying. As a man, you have to be educated in order to lead your woman. The thing is that if you follow women, it's already said in the Bible, Eve leads Adam to eat the fruit. It also, if you guys know American folklore, there's a thing called a siren. A purpose of a siren is that they're mermaids. When you see a mermaid, usually they're naked. They have no top. They're just showing their body. You're lusting for beauty. You're lusting for the wrong things, because beauty will fade, but wisdom is always there. So the story that how sirens went was they would cry out in a serenading voice to a sailor. The sailor would go on their way, right, to the voice. They would see the woman and they would crash their ship trying to save her. Does that sound familiar? They would crash their ship trying to save her. It almost sounds like, don't save her, she don't wanna be saved, don't save her. Oh, you starting to see how everything connects now. A strange woman waits for the youth that walk uprighteous in their path. Huh, so the Bible is saying a similar theme, a similar message to what J. Cole is quite literally telling us. Don't save her, she don't want to be saved. Do not go on a strange woman's path, she will lead you astray. Then you have stories about the siren. Huh, you start to see the connection with things once you can understand the meaning. The power is through reading. So that's why the women, why I believe they are protector of the household, is because we can refer back to the metaphor I was saying with John Henry and Harriet Tubman. Harriet Tubman has to be able to read the map in order for her to lead the slaves to freedom. Like I said, don't forget, John Henry is building it. John Henry is building the Underground Railroad. He then teaches Harriet Tubman, like I said in the spiritual, teaches Harriet Tubman the railroad. So that way, when she is leading the slaves to freedom, she's protecting those slaves, because she has to know where she's taking them. But she only knows where she's taking them based on the leadership that she got from the man building, paving the way for the future. The biggest misconception that the Bible has, will never want to read the Bible, is because they think it's about giving yourself to a white master. They think that the story of Jesus sacrificing himself on the cross is something to erase our heritage, erase our bloodline, to sacrifice our souls. That's not what it's about. Y'all are missing the message. In the very first story, Genesis, when it's talking about Abraham, fun fact, Abraham was actually Abram, and he didn't become Abraham until he was tested by God, in which God said, sacrifice your son. And so Abram was going to literally sacrifice his son, but he was stopped by God. This is not to say you are going to sacrifice your son. What happens with Joshua, he sacrificed. God sacrifices his son for us. And that's when everything starts to come together. You see, when God is saying, give your life to him, it's not about becoming a sellout. doing everything for money, serving that master. No, you're serving the master that wants to promote love. You're serving a master that wants to build the next generation, that wants to give light in the darkness, in the fallen world. But like I said, they make us have fear. They make us get confused. They make us scared. But this is why you should only fear God, because He's the light. When you have wisdom, you can guide yourself. Harriet Tubman got that wisdom from the men that were building the world. And guess what? She was able to lead us. So the John Henrys are paving the way for our Harriet Tubmans. The same way the men are paving the way for respectable women. Women, you have to choose your partners effectively. And men, you have to educate yourselves to spot who would be a good partner for the raising of your children. The most important thing a woman can have is her wisdom, is her brain. There's one leader in the household, but that woman is the protector of your fruit. That woman is the protector of the vineyard. When a woman speaks life into her children, they grow and they blossom. But if she speaks curses, those curses get spoken to their children and their children and their children. And it just happens over and over and over. What it means to have the presence of your father is having a man who learned, having a man who wants to give his life. The Bible is interpreted that when you give your life, you can give into your fleshly desires. You can want money, you can want clothes, you can want all these women, but they don't build the next generation. Be sober, be vigilant, for the devil is like a prowling lion. You allow your connection to the spirit to be severed when you are allowing ABC spirits into your body, basic spirits into your body. And so then when you go to these clubs, you got songs like Or What that have a vibration of a beat that quite literally allows these ideas to come into your mind. And now you're thinking, I like pills and Percocets. Yes. So it's keeping you in the same cycle that's destroying you, or you're allowing these Megan Thee Stallions, Glorillaz to say, I ain't got no man and no man ain't got me. That's not women empowerment. It's corrupted. Women empowerment is being able to be a good nurturer for your husband. Your husband is tired after paving the way that he comes home to you, the protector of the household, the angel, to restore him, to speak life upon him, speak life upon his children. The fruits of a man can be told through his children. The good man brings good things out of people. The bad man brings bad things out of people. So to wrap it up, the reason why the Bible is so powerful is because the whole overall message is about learning. It's about giving your life, doing the thing that's not going to make you rich, sacrificing desires that you want, sacrificing what you want in order to make the next generation better. You are building the next generation, quite literally, and you're not going to be able to do it by yourself. A man needs a strong woman, and a strong woman does not mean emasculated, give me head top. Eat your pickle cheese. That's not a powerful woman. A powerful woman is somebody who is emotionally mature and can nurture her husband, nurture the relationship. Because a man brings love, but a woman brings peace, and they work in unison. Their essence of life is wisdom. They put it into their child, and that child grows and blossoms. And like seeds, it just they grow and they evolve and they get better and better. You may not see the impact that you have, but sometimes all it takes is just one. That's why you have to learn to live in the spirit, because your spirit is working on a cosmic timeline. We are just spirits having a human experience. So you can either live for yourself, enjoy your time on this earth, go crazy, or you can build it up for the next generation through your presence, through your wisdom, education, educating will build us. At the end of the day, I ain't a preacher. I'm definitely not no preacher. I'm the guy talking.